Hello! Assuming that this is in fact the next video, we are back with Katawa Shoujo. Last time we got our pee-pee wet. And I guess we also talked about our past or whatever. Meh. Oh, we're waking up at Hanako's in case you didn't know. We did the sex and then we got that thing where you get tired and you fall asleep. My eyes feel heavy as they slowly open, the light from outside making me blink a bit to let them get adjusted. My body feels like lead and my head feels just as heavy. Waking up to an unfamiliar ceiling is an uncomfortable feeling. It reminds me of the first time I awoke to the dimpled white tile ceiling in the hospital. I am triggered. It's only after spending a few seconds staring up at it that I realize where I am. This is Hanako's dormitory room. I feel as though my heart stopped again, as the events of last night rush through my head. Blood rushes to my cheeks and I shut my eyes once more. There's very little point to getting myself worked up this early though, so I try to push such things out of my mind for now. I roll my head to the side to see if Hanako's where she was when I drifted off to sleep. All that's there now is an empty space on the bed in the room beyond. I sluggishly sit up and rub my eyes before pinching the bridge of my nose and looking around the room. It's empty. The only person here is me. I'm still bereft of my clothes, and after a quick scan of the floor for them, I notice that they're neatly folded in the corner of the room. Try as I might, I can't see Hanako anywhere. Big important question right now. It's a really huge, good, important question. Did he ever take that? Did he take it off? Did he take the condom off afterwards? Or did he just fall asleep with it on? Because that is icky. Okay, if I would have literally just read that, I wouldn't have had to ask that question. The foil packet for the condom's been removed too, presumably put into the bin. Oh, wait, we still don't know. I'm gonna assume that he did, because they're not mentioning it. With a great yawn, I get myself out of bed and quickly look for some underwear. I grimace a little at the prospect of putting my boxers back on after yesterday's efforts did a job on me. On them. Ew. Ew. Gross. But I don't have much choice. Take them to a sink and maybe wash them off or something? I mean, goodness. Taking advantage of the fact that I have some time without anyone around, I get myself dressed for the coming school day in a short order. And then, I'm alone. Without anything more to busy myself with, my mind becomes focused on the fact that I'm standing in another person's bedroom after we spent the night together, but there's not a single sign of her around. She probably went to class. My gut proves to be more helpful than my brain at working out this riddle. With a loud growl, it reminds me that she may well just be getting breakfast. I would have liked to wake up next to her, but maybe it's a good thing that I have a few moments alone. Hanako's room, as always, is quite bleak in appearance. There are precious few decorations and practically no personal artifacts that aren't hidden away in cupboards and drawers. There's a Brita. She lived here for 3 years, but the room looks as if it's barely been occupied for a single day. I shouldn't overthink this. She might just like living this way, as some do. Having the ability to put such low stock in physical possessions does have its advantages, but even so, it feels a little disconcerting given her past. She said she viewed herself as having had her life on hold while at the orphanage. She certainly lives as if she still does, but after what happened last night, it's pretty hard to imagine that she still thinks that way. Slow your roll, dude. All y'all did was pee-pee touch. The sound of door handle cracks through my thoughts as I turn to face it. Sure enough, Hanako comes through and shuts the door behind her. She has what seems to be 2 microwaved instant meals in her hand, so this is a little difficult. Good morning, Hanako. Morning. She gives a little bow before making her way to her desk, setting down both plates. I can now see them to be small satay dishes, their contents steaming with a fork stuck inside the rice of each. I give thanks to her before bringing them in, and we each take one and get down to eating. She sits on her desk chair while I sit on the side of her bed. I don't like talking while eating, so the silence between us isn't annoying in and of itself. It's the fact that it only exists because we don't quite know what to say to each other that's off-putting. Hanako glances towards me every so often as she eats. I only notice her doing so because I'm doing just the same thing. We're eating together as if we were a couple. We even had sex last night, a first for both of us. Something feels wrong, though. Did you never take the condom off? Is that what feels wrong? Maybe that's why we can't say even a word to each other as we finish our plates and leave them in the sink. Or is it the fact that you guys, had the big deep talk and then just decided to get deep into each other? Maybe that's why we leave Hanako's room without holding hands or making small talk. Maybe that's why it feels as if we're further apart than we've ever been before. We enter the classroom together, neither of us so much as glancing at each other. Just after we do so, I realize that this may have been a mistake. Shizune lifts her eyebrow at the sight, her suspicions raised. Bruh, if you didn't take a shower, they can literally smell it on you. That's not an exaggeration. They know. They're gonna be like, why do you smell like fucking? And then you're gonna be like, no reason. Don't pay any attention to the fact that we just walked in with each other for no apparent reason. Hopefully you don't notice that I'm wearing the same clothes as yesterday. Leave it alone. As we reach the center aisle between the classroom's desks and look at each other, I'm not quite sure what I should say. Does she want me to address her as a girlfriend? I didn't think our relationship was... Oh, that's why this feels so strange. See ya. Okay. I quickly hold up a hand as we part and take our seats at our respective desks. Smooth, he sighed. Nobody thought that was weird. I can't even look back to her out of embarrassment. I feel like the gulf between Hanako and me is because of me. Oh! They see you! Shizune begins to make her way towards me, but then Muto enters the room. As she slides back. I'm thankful for his arrival being so well timed, drawing Shizune and her questioning away to wait for another time. I wouldn't have been able to answer her anyway. I like Hanako, but I've never told her what my feelings for her are. Hanako never said she saw me as anything beyond a friend either, yet despite that, we slept together. I mean, you don't have to, feel anything beyond anything to sleep together. You're just a high schooler. The bell to signal the beginning of lunch rings out. Muto is taken a little off guard, his chemistry lecture being cut off mid-sentence, much to his chagrin. For the entirety of the class, his ramblings has passed through one ear and out the other, as my mind mulls over the question of Hanako. Hanako? I can't get her out of my mind, and by now I've managed to wind myself up about it. I realize that she never said yes to what we did. She didn't say no either, but would she have been able to? She's extremely submissive at the best of times, and no doubt it took her a gargantuan effort to show me her scarring. I decided to try at least make conversation with her. That would be better than the monosyllabic communication that's been the most we've managed between each other so far today. I walk to her desk intending to chat, but she awkwardly blushes and looks down even before I've come to her. I take a brief breath to speak, but find myself lost in words. What in the world should I say to her? Just be like, do you want to eat lunch? And then if you really got some words for her, don't be saying them here in front of God and everybody. Hearing approaching footsteps, I turn to see Shizune and Nisha already making their way towards us, no doubt with the intent to start asking troublesome things. A couple of other classmates are looking at us, gossiping between themselves as they throw sidelong glances. They must also have noticed Hanako and me coming in together earlier. I open my mouth to reassure Hanako, but she preempts me. I've gotta go do something! She gets out of her chair and dashes for the door. A couple of the books and pens that were on her desk are sent falling to the floor in her rush. Not many people seem to care about this event. A few look around to see what all the fuss is about, but go back to what they were previously doing soon after. I'm left despairingly looking at the door that Hanako disappeared out of. The idea of running after her passes through my mind, but I'm fairly sure that Hanako can run faster than I can. And besides, What would I say to her once I caught up anyway? Eventually I simply crouched down and began picking up the items that had fallen to the ground from her desk. I feel low in every way, reduced to this as students pass by me on their way out of the room. Oh shit, here they go. Feel a tap on my shoulder. I look up to see Shizune and Misha looking at me. Curiosity about the situation written on their faces, mixed with a slightly apologetic look at the idea that they were partially responsible for what just happened.
Mer. He-chan, if we can help at all.
I just shake my head. This isn't a matter for them, and from Shizune's expression and the tone of Misha's voice, I think they know the same thing. Shizune acknowledges my response and gives a solemn bow before making her way out of the room. Misha soon follows her out, obediently following her role as Shizune's shadow. I pick myself up, books and pens in hand, and place them inside Hanako's desk. With the classroom now empty, I end up just leaning against her desk and thinking to myself in silence. It feels like there's a complete emotional disconnect between Hanako and me. We haven't known each other for all that long, and despite wanting to start going out with her, I really don't know that much about how Hanako views things. I've been studying as hard as I can for exams, but I still don't feel like I have any real sense of direction behind it. I tried to be a friend to Hanako, even if I couldn't tell her my feelings, and all we've done is drive each other apart. I couldn't even write a letter back to the one girl who ever loved me, Iwanako. And love is extreme. I don't know if she loved you. What should I do? What can I do? I simply don't know the answer to either of those questions. I do know that nobody else can help me with them. Just going back to the way things were would be enough to make me happy, but I know that it can never happen. Something changed between us last night. Maybe it changed beforehand, and it just came to a head then. I know that there's a wall that Hanako has between me and her. I've been hitting that wall every time I've tried to interact with her on any level. But now I'm beginning to think that I have my own wall between us just as much as she does. She had to practically drag my past out of me, and mine was much less traumatic than hers. I want to say it's because I haven't had long enough to adjust since my heart attack, but I know full well that it would just be an excuse. The one time I can recall when it really felt like she was opening up to me on her own accord, when we were playing billiards in the city. I was the one who stopped her from going further. I want to know Hanako better. I want to save our friendship, if not begin a real relationship with her. My mind begins to tick as I sit against her desk, thinking to myself in the empty classroom that we've spent so much time together in. I have to talk to Hanako. I pace around the park, feelings of anxiety rolling over me. Every so often I reach into my pocket to take out my phone, but each and every time I hesitate and end up slipping it back in. If this were any normal situation, I wouldn't be cutting classes. Unfortunately, it isn't, and so I find myself in the town below the school at 2 in the afternoon. Ever since I met Hanako, I've been the one to initiate everything between us, the one that started conversations, went to her wherever she was, and suggested that what we should do. Today, this once, I don't want to be the only one doing that. Nah, she called you that one time you went to the city. She initiated that. My hand dives into my pocket once more. This time I quickly navigate to the texting menu before I have a chance to change my mind again. Hanako, if you want to talk, I'll be at the park in town for a while. Fighting a last measure of doubt, I thumb in my message to Hanako and press the button to send it. And now, I wait. My part in this has been fulfilled. What needs to happen now is for Hanako to make the decision. It would be meaningless for me to drag her here. She needs to decide for herself whether she wants to meet me. Aw, you're gonna get ghosted. The apple juice from the vending machine tastes awfully bitter as I swill it down. My grip on the can has caused it to dent slightly in the middle. I shouldn't be this tense, but it's probably inevitable. Hanako's dear to me. What happened in the last couple of days has put a lot of pressure on both of us. The idea of losing all the progress we've made in coming closer to one another, and losing our friendship as a whole, is deeply unsettling. But even then, I still don't really know how close we are. We may have had sex, but before that, all I knew us to be was friends. Maybe we are more than that, but if so, I never realized it. Maybe that's why I feel so uneasy right now. I don't understand Hanako. Despite all the time we've spent together, the minutes are ticking by and I still have no idea whether she'll show up.
Hisao?
I pause for a moment, almost not believing that I'm hearing the voice I'm hearing. I drop the can and stand up with a start. Hanako. We look at each other for a few seconds before Hanako becomes too embarrassed to maintain eye contact and begins to nervously fiddle with the roughly cut lock of hair covering the side of her face. When I went to see Hanako in her room by myself after her breakdown, I had no idea what to say. That was fine then. All either of us wanted was each other's presence. Now, though, I feel like I need to talk to her directly. I want to break down this wall between us before it forces us apart for good. Hanako, what we did that night, how should I interpret that? Hanako stops playing with her hair and looks at me, her head cast slightly downwards. She looks ashamed, which is probably a good mirror of how I would look now if I weren't so concerned.
I thought you might eventually go away, if I was only someone you needed to protect. I thought that if I let you do that, you might see me as someone more than that.
My first reaction is disbelief, but I did do it with her, after all. I had plenty of opportunities where I could have stopped things, stepped back, and questioned what we were doing. In the end, though, I didn't. A horrible feeling rises in the pit of my stomach. She offered herself to me because of what she thought I wanted, and now it feels like I took advantage of her. She may have been willing, but only under false premises. I've never been good at hiding my emotions from physically showing, and now is no different. Hanako looks down once more, a strange mixture of depression, regret, and sickness written into her face. Thick silence hangs in the air, save for the breeze blowing through the trees around us.
I knew you couldn't look at me that way.
Hanako's words are said in little more than a whisper, seemingly directed just as much at herself as to me. In what way? What do you mean?
All I ever was to you was a useless person. Just someone to protect. Someone like a child. I wanted to be more to you than that. But after so long, I got used to it.
The tone of her voice is unlike any I've heard her use before. She sounds disgusted, not at me but at herself.
After I came out of my room, I saw that you had started drifting away. I felt like I was going to lose you because you wanted somebody you could have that kind of relationship with. You were more quiet in school than before, and you were getting on so well with Yuko, I thought that I might lose you.
She thought I was bored of her because I wanted a romantic relationship? But we're friends, right? I wouldn't just abandon you like that, even if what you're saying was true.
Friendship was something I thought I'd given up on. I stopped believing in others after what happened after the accident. Before the accident happened, I got in love with people and other children. I didn't have many friends, but I didn't mind, because I treasured the ones I had. Afterwards, though, I was called names by others and teased a lot. It hurt, really deeply. The teachers tried to help, but they couldn't do much, and even many of them recoiled just at the sight of me. Among those calling me names and teasing me were the ones that I thought were my closest friends. From then on, I believed that it didn't matter if nobody else acknowledged me. All my existence ever did was make people troubled after all. It was easier if I just didn't exist. But after meeting Lily, and then you, I tried, but I couldn't make myself think that way again.
At that time, she didn't trust me. She thought, just like everyone else in her life had, that she was worthless. Someone to throw away once I got bored of being with her. That hurts. That's the one kind of person I never ever wanted to be seen as, because I know better than most just how horrible it feels to be thrown away by those who I thought liked me. She's cracking from the memories she's bringing up. I feel useless, completely unable to console her. In a strange way, though, I am almost thankful that she's allowing me to know this. The wall between us is going away, even if it hurts so badly to bring it down. Hanako, if you just told me.
Was I wrong?
Of course She wasn't. Hanako wasn't wrong. It's difficult to force myself to admit this, but I know trying to deny it is pointless. To me and to Lily, she was someone we tried to protect. She had become to me what I'd become to my friends after my heart attack, a broken person. I liked her, possibly even loved her, but I never acted on that precisely because I thought she was so fragile. I mean, I don't look at you that way now. I got worried about you after what happened to you in class, and I thought I should try to protect you. When you locked yourself in your room, though, I got afraid. I thought you were rejecting me, and it forced me to think a lot about different things.
I wasn't rejecting you.
She blurted it out with almost scared tone to her voice, taking me off guard. She quickly becomes embarrassed by her outburst before clenching her fists and working through what she wants to say in her mind.
I wouldn't ever do that. Not to you. Even though I was scared, even though I tried to push you away, you still tried to get even closer to me. I locked myself away because I was just a burden to you, to Lily, to everyone. Every birthday was the same. Everyone doing their best to pretend that I mattered. Everyone pretending that everything was alright for that one day of the year. I didn't want to exist, but they wouldn't let me. Even after meeting Lily, everything was the same. I was as useless as I'd always been, unable to do anything for her or for myself. I didn't want to be the same way to you.
Lily and I were completely wrong. From what she said, everything we did for her, it would have only made her feel worse. Even what little I thought I had right about her was complete misjudgment. After you locked yourself in your room, I decided to try to work out my past as well and sort out my future. I didn't know how to deal with the things I'd lost by coming to Yamaku, so I was trying to sort them out myself. I thought it would help us become better friends if I did that. Silence hangs in the air again. I try to keep looking at her, but I can't. I feel really low, and though I want to apologize, I don't know how I possibly could. I hear her take a deep breath and only look back to her after hearing her drop to the ground. Whoa? Oh no! Oh no! Get off the ground! Gumby, you are really ruining this moment for me. Aw, she gave me a kiss. Thank you, baby. I love you. Oh, come here. Come here. Snap, baby. Come here. Oh, baby, baby, baby. The sound of her crying breaks my heart. I know I'm responsible for this, and I know that I can't do anything to help her. If Hanako feels ashamed, then I feel all the more so. Aw, huggy! I rush to her as tears continue to roll down her cheeks unabated. Wrapping my arms around her, I don't care about how I must look anymore. I just want to be close to her right now.
I'm sorry, Isao. I've messed everything up.
It's fine. Everything's fine. I'm the one that should be sorry. I was meddling around behind your back, and I never told you anything. I can feel my grip tightening on Hanako as my vision blurs. I can't be bothered trying to hold back now. I have to force my words out as a lump begins to stick in my throat. To tell you the truth, Hanako, I was scared. For the first time since my heart attack, I was really scared.
Isao.
I lost so much when I came to Yamaku. I was depending on you more than I ever thought I did. Even now I still have that hole inside me. After losing my entire life and everyone I'd known, the thought of losing you as well.
But I'm just useless.
You're my friend, Hanako. No, you're more than that. I love you, Hanako. I love you so much that the thought of losing you frightened me so much. This is bad. I'm really letting all this out. And in public, in front of God and everybody. I can't bring myself to look at her face right now.
I'm sorry, Hisao. I can't help feeling a bit happy. For so long, that's what I've wanted to hear.
The last of the floodgates breaks, the sound of her crying permeating the air as her body jerks against mine. We hold each other tightly, again, in the middle of the park, in front of God and everybody, connected more closely than ever in our shared grief and our shared happiness. I don't know how things are going to be like after this. Right now, though, I don't care. There's no other person in the world that either of us could possibly share these memories and emotions with. Nobody. Oh, okay. You know? Okay. For some reason I thought that was going to be the credits, but I guess we just gonna curtain wipe to the next scene. It's a little jarring. After dropping the dirty can into a bin next to the bench, I take a seat beside Hanako. She puts away the handkerchief I gave her to clean herself up, which hasn't helped much. And again, I doubt I look much more presentable. Even now, I feel emptied and a bit embarrassed after letting my emotions out in public like that. It's not a bad sensation, though. I think Hanako feels the same way, too. Have you calmed down a bit?
Yes, thank you.
For a while, we just sit and take our time before talking again to one another. We both need a little time to collect ourselves.
The weather is nice at this time of year.
Yeah, it is. Are we just sleeping? Okay. I close my eyes for a moment, relishing the feeling of the sun's heat and the cool breeze against my face. The weather really is nice today. Really, really nice. You know, I don't really want to go back to classes right now. Do you? She shakes her head as she finishes wiping her eyes with her cuff. The small smile she gives is nice, and it's a reminder of how earnest it can be. Smiling for other people might be a completely normal everyday thing. For Hanako, though, she smiles so rarely and so sincerely that each and every time she does it, I feel a sense of relief and happiness.
I'm sorry for everything.
It's okay. I think we both have a bit to be sorry for.
I know that I'm too shy. I know you don't want me to be. I don't think I can.
You can change, Hanako. I know that because even in the time I've known you, you've already changed. To be honest, just being able to sit here and talk to you like this means that you've changed a lot since we first met.
But I can't be like that for anyone else. I don't have any plans for after school ends either.
Hanako's confidence begins to slide down again, but I think that now I can finally talk to her as an equal. I can do it because I know that we're just the same in so many ways. Just give yourself time, and I think you'll be able to achieve what you want. No, I'm sure that you'll be able to do it. I can see you've been trying, and I have faith in you. And you can depend on me if you feel like you need someone to support you, you know?
But I can't ask that of you.
You can, because that's exactly what I'm asking of you. I'm going through the same thing, you know? It's called love? Yeah, maybe you've heard of it. Definitely not a weird manipulation tactic for me to make you take on my burdens so I can take on yours. Hanako smiles before I get off the bench and dust myself off. She does the same in short measure. I'm kinda hungry. Wanna grab something to eat? She nods vigorously. The way she's smiling, the way she's acting, even just the general air she gives off. I feel as if this is the first time I've seen her genuinely happy. We both make our way onto the street, walking beside each other.
Hisao?
Yeah?
I think I don't really understand you.
I don't think I understand you either. I believe that's fine, though. There's not a single hint of despair in our voices. Not understanding each other is only natural. The walls we set up between ourselves couldn't possibly be broken down in a single day. But that's fine, as long as we take it day by day and try to understand one another. I think everything will be okay. As we walk down the street, though, Hanako's eyes flick to my face and back to the street repeatedly. Is something on your mind? You look restless. She slows before stopping completely. When I turn to meet her, she takes a long and deep breath, looking at my face intently. This expression, I saw it once before on her face. Just once, when I accidentally surprised her in her room.
I think I think I have something I need to give you.
What is it? You don't need to be evasive about it.
I wanted to give you this for a long time, but now that I need to, it's too embarrassing.
Don't worry, I'll accept it, whatever it is. Is it a kiss? Is it a huggy? She gives a sweet, bashful smile before taking my shoulder in her hand.
Then please accept my first gift to you, Hisao.
Hanako?
Oh, it's a kiss. Yes. Little kisses.
Still out here in front of God and everybody. Look, they gossiping. Ooh, girl. They kissing in public. Ooh. In front of the bakery. Ooh. Look at them. Ain't got no shame.
That's cute.
Yeah. You don't have to understand each other. You just have to want to understand each other. What are we looking at? What are we looking at? Some concept art? Come right up, step right up. We got some concept art. Fresh off the presses. See, we have changed her outfit. Changed the fact that she has short bangs, give her long bangs. What is that pose? Hello? Oh, that's a cute one. I like that. Aw. That's her final design. Yes. Well, that was cute. I like Hanako's route. Everybody's happy as she get. Hanako's route is just like straight sweetness. It's just all cute and fluffy and adorable, and that's about it. I don't know, like, again, like I think I said it before, Hanako's route is super duper straightforward. It is just somebody dealing, well, I guess it's straightforward for me because I have similar problems, but it's very much a very typical reaction of PTSD and having to deal with survivor's guilt. You know, you feel like you're a burden on others, and you want to be as inconvenient as possible, and you feel like the best way to do that is just to not be around people. And it also just anxiety around human beings, and then when you're made a big deal of, it just like fucks with your worldview. And yeah, I mean, I really don't know what else to say about it, because it just very much is what it is. Everyone wants to like help her and protect her, especially because of like how she looks. They're like, oh gosh, she's all scarred, and then how she acts, she's like super shy, and everybody wants to help her out, and she's like, I don't really want your help. But you know, she likes help from some people, and it depends on what kind. But it's a very tiptoey back and forth situation. There's some areas where you go and you're like, hey, what's going on here? And you know what it kind of reminds me of, actually? Haru from Beastars. Like, especially with the sex situation where she tries to like make them think of her as like an equal. And maybe that's not a super fair comparison, but I think it's like it's giving me those kind of vibes. I know this is a lot older of a piece than Beastars, which is relatively new, but I think the fact that that is a consistent theme in meek individuals trying to take agency over their relationships with others. It's very, very interesting how they both kind of used sex in that way. Well, fucky wucky, but it is in fact a thing, and it is relatively common, I think. At least in my experience, it is. But yeah, so I'm gonna actually go and speed run the bad ending, and put them both in this video, and it's gonna be its own little video. So this is the first thing that leads to the bad ending, where you have to go, how about we call it a day, whenever Lily leaves. I don't know about you, but I'm going to try and take a nap. My head is killing me. Judging by Hanako's instant relief, I can only assume that I've guessed right. I don't think she wants to be out and about. Wordlessly, she turns and heads back through the school gate. We walk all the way back to the dorms together, stopping awkwardly at the spot where we need to depart.
Well then, goodbye.
Do you want to have some tea or something later? How about a game? Hanako shakes her head embarrassedly.
I'm tired. Maybe tomorrow? I've got homework.
I suppose she would have a bit of schoolwork to catch up on. She's missed a few days of lessons after all. Ah, homework, thanks for reminding me. I've got a stack to do as well. I guess I'll see you tomorrow.
See you, Hisao.
Before I can say goodbye, Hanako has turned and begun walking towards the entrance of the female dormitory building. I look at the door she disappeared through for a bit before going towards my own dorms. Tomorrow will be a better day. Will it? Will it?
Bloom, bloom.
Neat. Okay, so to get the bad ending, I do trust my own judgment. I'm gonna save it. I wanna see what happens if I agree, if that creates anything new. No, continue. I listen carefully to what Lei has to say, but I can't bring myself to agree with her. Hanako's a delicate person at the best of times, and after what happened when her birthday was brought up, I think this is the very last situation where we should be leaving her alone if she's deliberately secluding herself. It feels like Lily has a very definite image of how best to deal with Hanako in her mind, though. Not just now, but in all the times that I've known the two. I'm pretty sure that this leads to the neutral end, probably, but it's like slightly different. I mull over the best course of action in my head and find myself trying to verbally agree with Lily as softly and as ambivalently as I can. We make some small talk afterwards, but neither of us has much stomach for it in the light of recent events. We say our goodbyes before I hang up. I'm gonna see if this just lets me skip. Nope. I'm gonna talk to Hanako myself to help her as best I can. The best thing for her right now would be to have someone close to her, not to be left alone. I rap my knuckles thrice on Hanako's door. As expected, there's no answer. I briefly consider knocking again, but I know full well that I'd get the same result as if I did. Resting my hand on Hanako's door handle, I try and prepare what I want to say to her. Try as I might, I can't really think of anything worth saying. I want to comfort her, yes, but I have no idea how to do that. That alone is almost enough to stop me. I told Lily that I would, though, so I feel I have to follow through whether I'm confident about it or not. I turn the handle downwards with a large amount of hesitation. It doesn't move far, though, due to the door being locked. Hanako? So she really has locked me out after everything that happened between us and the time that we spent together. She shut me out completely. I don't know if you can hear me, but I just wanted to talk to you for a bit. If you can hear me, could you unlock the door? Don't do it. I wait in silence. Minutes pass, but eventually I hear footsteps coming to the door and the lock being worked. At least she's willing to hear me out. That's one good thing. I don't really know what to say, but I just wanted to see you. I wanted to make sure you're alright. I take a deep breath before pushing the handle down and opening the door. If she unlocked it without raising any protest, it should be fine for me to go in. Hanako is sitting on the side of her bed, her face sullen as though in deep thought. Her room is as stark as ever, and right now she seems to perfectly suit the mood it gives off. Eventually her eyes slowly move to the door. As soon as she notices my presence, she darts off to her bed and jumps to her feet, facing me straight up. Her oversized gown makes this gesture look all the more sweeping as it freely moves about her light frame.
What are you...
I quickly regret coming in as I look at her. She looks depressed, but there's a tinge of anger behind it, so she can make this kind of expression as well. I just wanted to check that you were alright. I thought it would be okay since you unlocked the door. Hanako opened her mouth to speak, but quickly closes it again before looking away. We stand in silence for a while before she steps back and sits down on the side of her bed. I'm not sure whether she's frustrated with me and resigned to the fact that I'm here, or genuinely okay with me being in her room. Once again, I find myself completely unable to work out how she feels. It's annoying. I end up walking to her desk chair and taking a seat. I do it slowly to allow her time to raise any issues she might have with me sticking around, but she doesn't say anything. All she does is stare at the ground without moving a muscle. After sitting with my front to the chair's back, I take a better look at Hanako. She appears pale, but her cheeks look red. I'm not sure she's been eating well either, given how thin her frame looks. Lily might have said it would be better if I kept more of a distance from her, but it's hard to think of that as the correct way to deal with Hanako when she looks like this. She keeps looking at the ground without a word, as if waiting for me to say something. It's entirely reasonable since I'm the one who came into her room. Want to go out somewhere? Going down the hill to town might be a bit much, but we could at least go for a walk outside.
Why do you want to do that?
I was just thinking that it might help you a bit. You spend so much time inside, your skin's going to get as pale as Lily's before long. I snort in amusement, expecting Hanako to do the same, but she gives no reaction. She just goes back to looking at the ground.
If you don't want to go, I don't want to go either.
It's fine, I played soccer and hung out with friends after school a lot before coming to Yamaku, so I like being outdoors. Hanako shows no visible reaction. It's hard to talk to her when the discussion is so one-sided. We could go to the library if it wasn't closed by about now. The gardens would be fine though. She begins to play with her hair. It's distracting, and strikes me as a little unusual for her. Then again, since the incident in class happened, I've been tiptoeing around her for fear of hurting her like that again. Actively trying to get her outside might be a good thing. I lean forward a bit more in the chair and give her a slightly forced smile to try and lighten the mood a little. There wouldn't be anyone around by now, so you wouldn't have to worry about someone getting in our way. It could be a little date or something. Yeah, that's smooth. I give a small chuckle, but catch myself as Hanako stops playing with her hair and grips the bed tightly. Hanako's mouth moves, but try as I might, I can't pick out what she's mumbling. Hanako?
You don't understand.
Even now, I can only barely understand what she says. It feels like she's trying to make her presence as small as possible. That's incredibly natural for her to do in class and around others, but it hurts when she tries it around me. I told you it's fine, it's just a little walk, nobody will notice us. I get out of the chair and walk towards the door, turning back to invite Hanako along. Once again, she doesn't respond at all to what I say.
I don't...
Going outside for a bit is good for clearing your head.
Why do you want to do this?
Because I want to help you.
I don't want help. Did you just come here to try to get me out?
I don't mind. I think everyone needs help sometimes. When I was trying to get through my first days at Yamaku, you and Lily helped me a lot. Besides, I'm not exactly busy.
I don't want to go. I'm fine.
I don't really think it's healthy to stay indoors that long. The sun's still got a little life in it, so it's not too late to try to have at least a little walk. Can you leave her alone? Good God. I could probably use a bit of exercise anyway to help wake me up. I've got some homework to get done, and it wouldn't be good to fall asleep halfway through doing it.
Then go.
By myself? She nods. Well, I'm not really against that, but are you sure? I swung by to invite you to come with me.
I'm fine. You can go.
Come on, just a small walk. Leave her alone, good God!
Please, just go. I'm fine here.
Hanako? Get the fuck out of my room, God! I try to look at her face to gauge her feelings, but her expression is wooden, as if it was so carefully arranged that a single movement might cause it to collapse. Well, if you want to stay here, maybe we could play a game.
Just leave, please. I don't want to do anything right now.
Sure, there's something you want to do. It must be boring sitting here in your room alone.
I want you to go.
Come on, you don't have to be like that. I just want to spend some time with you. Lily and I are worried, so...
You talked to her?
Yeah, we were on the phone just a little while ago. We're both really worried about you. Hanako mumbles to herself again. It's increasingly disturbing. Hanako?
I'm telling you, please, go away. You don't understand anything.
If we had just had a talk, you could tell me what I don't understand. I just want to protect you. I don't really see...
Get out, please.
Just locking yourself in your room again isn't going to help anything, Hanako. Please. Silence. Hanako, I just want to help you. She suddenly storms off her bed, turning to me with an expression that takes me completely off guard. Get out of my room! Get out of my room! Get out of my room! Hanako yells at me with such force that for the first time in a long time I feel genuinely frightened. I have no idea how to react to this, and from Hanako, of all people.
Leave! I'm telling you! Go!
But I was just trying to help you.
I know I need help. I know I'm broken. I don't need you to tell me that.
I never said you were broken or anything like that.
It's written all over your face. It's written on Lily's face. It's written on everyone's faces. I see a therapist every week. Lily dotes on me as if I were a child, and now, even you. Nothing's changed, nothing at all. I hate Lily, and I hate you more than anyone.
Her face moves in strange, almost grotesque ways. I've never seen someone completely lose it before, and it looks like the usually quiet and withdrawn girl in front of me is going into just such a destructive cycle before my eyes. I don't know what to do. I have no idea what I should say or do.
Go! Leave me alone! Get out of here!
I take a step back, then another, and then another. My retreat is only halted when I feel the door against my back. I can't fix the situation. Nothing I say could change anything now. I feel like I'm in a strange and deeply unsettling foreign world. I don't want to be here anymore. The door handle fights my clumsy attempts to open the door without turning my back to Hanako. Eventually, thankfully, the handle moves downwards. I open the door as fast as I can and almost leap backwards through it. As I go through, I keep my eyes on the girl in front of me. She's not broken. Hanako isn't broken. If she was broken, then I'm just as broken as she is after all that's happened to me. Lily only ever did the best by her, and I only ever tried to protect her as best I could. Hanako looks down, all her energy spent. Now that I've stepped out of her room, the worst of her fury is gone. But even now, I can't bring myself to argue with her. It's not just the deep shock at what she said. It feels like something else is stopping me. Something deep that makes me feel physically sick. Without a word, I slowly shut the door. The creak of the old hinges sounds almost deafening. With a final thud, the wooden door closes. The Hanako that I felt I knew disappears behind it, and only faint orange slivers of light peek around the very edges. I feel numb. Without anything else to do, I begin the walk back to my dormitory, mechanically placing one foot in front of the other while barely registering the thing around me. My mind keeps ticking, questioning everything that I thought I knew about Hanako. But one thing is not questioned, that shutting that door brought a close to more than that single visit. Yeah, y'all done went pissed her off. I'm just gonna skip this, and then I'm gonna load up that save and see if that changes. trust my own judgment. Okay, it looks like it's the same. If you mess up that first one, then you're just kind of messed up. Okay, so I have finished Hanako's route. I don't know which route I'm gonna do after this one. I have Emmy, Lily, Shizune. Is that it? I've only done 2 routes. Am I forgetting someone? How many girls are in this? Does Misha have a route? Misha... Actually, what am I doing? I can just look at the extras. No, not the gallery. Library. Yeah, okay. Emmy, Lily, or Shizune? Anyone, in the comments, just let me know which one you'd want me to do next. Otherwise, I will probably, I don't know who I'll go with. I'll wait for the comments to see if you guys have an opinion on which one I should do next. And if not, I'll just eeny meeny miny moe it or something. Alright. I look forward to your guys' opinions. And I will see everyone at the start of a new route. Bye!